Hello everybody and welcome. Just came back from PAX Australia and I wanted to share my thoughts about what I saw in regards to Elden Ring. My sole focus was to go and test specifically games like Elden Ring and other games that I may have seen that they were available there. But to be honest, most of the games there they were like 1 hour and 1 hour and a half waiting. And you know what? I was like, I'm not gonna deal with that. I saw Elden Ring. There was only like two switches available to play Elden Ring. I was lucky because they had it behind closed curtains. The same thing that they did for Borderlands as well. They were in behind like almost everything. You see there the Elden Ring sign there. It was there. You had to pass through everything in order to access it. And I went there and thankfully there was no waiting time. The guy told me like it's 5 minutes if you want to wait, and I'm like okay, yeah, I will wait. And then I get in, and that was like the station that I had there. The guy kind of tried to explain to me. I said I have played before, and I went to the tree sentinel immediately. I got my ass beat because that pointy thing. I never have used a pointy sword. I didn't even know what it was doing. But yeah, like I wanted to test mostly what the tree sentinel will do. I wanted to point out like if there was anything like that felt weird, like stuttering and stuff like this, slowed downs. And to anyone's surprise, the game was okay. Now, to give context, I have beat Elden Ring on my Steam Deck LCD and my Steam Deck OLED. And I beat the DLC on my ROG Ally because the Steam Deck couldn't really play that game really well with the patch at the time of release. So that was really my experience with that. I have fully played those games only on those handheld devices, and my findings from this have been quite interesting. So let's get into it. First, the only thing that I will notice was that, first of all, yes, it is 30 FPS. The game looks gorgeous on that screen. Like it looks really, really good. It felt like they were really going for the higher fidelity over like smoothness. I'm pretty sure like if they have downed a little bit some of the settings, maybe we could have like an unlocked frame rate or something. But yeah, like the game looked gorgeous. Like every angle that I looked around, I have played this game a lot, but handheld it didn't look as good as this to other devices that I have used before. So for me, that was really happy with that. And moving forward, some things I noticed. There was a little bit of extra input delay I felt when I was doing like some rolls and some things like that. Is it because the Switch 2 is a little bit laggier device because it uses V-Sync and I usually don't have V-Sync on almost ever. So that could be that. It could be that I'm used to that. And last time I played Elden Ring, it was on my PC. So maybe my brain just didn't really see what was going on there. But I digress. The game felt smooth 30 FPS. It didn't feel like bad 30 FPS. And the other thing I noticed is that the term called variable shading. So variable shading, what is it? After a while, when you're passing like a specific thing that you have on your camera, like this is the point and this is the other point, the point over here, instead of animating at 30 FPS all the time, it animates at like 15 FPS in order to maintain the smoothness of the game the whole time and have no stutters. In the game, the only time I had stutter, weirdly, was when I would kill an enemy. If I killed an enemy, there was a little bit of a small stutter, like for I don't know for what reason. It was the only time in the game that you will feel a little bit of a stutter when someone was dying. And then after something was dying, everything else was smooth again. So it was a little bit weird, but everything else was fine. And that variable shading that I described, I found it a lot because after getting my ass beat with the pointy piercing weapon that you had with that new class, I went immediately to Leafgrave to, to the place that is the full of knights and you get the first map and all of that, pretty much close to where you get the horse. And that is the place that mostly you find a lot of enemies. And I have seen a lot of people describe like what was going there with those enemies. That was like, oh, this is unplayable over there because those enemies, it looks like they're moving at like trash frame rate. But the thing is, the game, instead of tries to slow down the whole game, what it does is when there is like after, I think I noticed after 5 enemies trying to attack you at the same time, really close to you, it doesn't let it animate everything. So those enemies that are trying to attack you at the same time, they are getting that effect, the variable shading. That you may have been familiar if you have played Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch One. The farther things away from you, they will animate on different frame rate, and when you were getting closer after a point that you are close to see it close up, the thing, that will be 30 FPS. So I saw that effect happening when there was a lot of enemies, and after I aggroed all of the enemies of that area, everything that I was playing from my side, my character, everything controlled to the character was fully animated. But all those 10 enemies that they were chasing me, they were moving on a different frame rate. So instead of tagging the whole experience and making you like, oh, you're playing at 20 FPS, I think that was what most players felt at the time when they were describing that playing versus a lot of enemies, it was unplayable. Because it was not really everything, the whole game. It was that specific effect that is being done in order to not drop below that frame rate and kind of like keep it at bay with all those enemies trying to kill you and keep it at 30 FPS, the game running without stuttering. And that was the most interesting thing to me. All of those things happening, they were having this optimization. But somehow, if you were killing an enemy, you were having that stutter. That was weird. I'm not sure. I hope that gets like panned out because that was like kind of weird. Like, how come that stutter only happens when you're killing an enemy? And beyond that, the thing is also when they were attacking you or they were chasing you, those 10 guys, if someone was close to you and there was like only one enemy trying to hit you at that time, that enemy hit would be fully animated, like 30 FPS. That was normal attack. But I think they have kind of made some smart optimizations that will give only when the game is sensing that there is too much going on with a group of enemies or something specific, and you will have that variable shading effect. So like instead of having the whole game slow down, only the enemies, it's kind of like the animations slow down, and they will attack you at the same time. It's not like it's going to be any different, but what you're seeing it as less smooth. I'm not sure if they're going to implement that to anything else in the game, like if you're having like really huge effects from bosses. I'm a little bit afraid of that they may result to some bosses having a little bit of that. And I hope that doesn't happen, because if that happens, it's going to be really distracting if you're trying to play like something like Mesmer that throws you all of those things and you see it at different frame rates. Hope that's only for the enemies. But again, my experience has been positive because maybe it's because I was so afraid of how bad it was gonna be, but what most people have described about Elden Ring. But yeah, like that was really my experience, and I have beat the game, and I have beat the game a couple of times, so it's not like first time ever touched it and wow, it looks super smooth. I wouldn't say it looks super smooth, but it looks like 30 FPS, normal. Nothing like too insane, not stuttery, not too framey, just a little bit of input lag. Now, after that, I also went ahead and tried this game. It was Borderlands. Actually, that was the biggest disappointment of the day. Borderlands, not even borderline playable. That thing was, and the person was like, yeah, like he could see that things were not really moving smoothly, you know? Things and some bugs were happening. You were going to the pad that launches you and you will fall in the middle of it. And I was like, and that guy was trying to laugh as well. But yeah, like it was kind of interesting. I don't think that is playable at all, and it's not the 30 FPS. I wish it was the 30 FPS, but it's not. The game, when it's loading too many things at once, it just completely chugged. So right now, that game is not ready at all. I don't know if someone played and he said that it was just 30 FPS. It was not just 30 FPS. That thing was broken, man. Like that, especially there. If I get Borderlands 4 for the Switch 2, it's gonna be for the portable experience. And I hope they figure it out because I would like to do that. And the last game that I played, I had a really cool chat with the person that was there. And we were talking about like it was Dragon Quest 1 and 2. And I just roamed around and it's kind of farmed to see how it was working. Dragon Quest 2. They gonna have it as two different games again. And the demo, I just wanted to see the princess, also what attacks she had and stuff like that. I'm not gonna spoil anything, so don't feel afraid. It was cool. I didn't try to have any dialogue with anything because I didn't want to get spoiled myself. So yeah, I just want to see how it runs. It runs identical to how the Dragon Quest 3, the new update over that I saw to the channel if you want to check the video. How it's running on the Switch 2, it's running really, really smooth and everything was tip-top 60 FPS, no problemo. It looked pretty good. I felt like, I don't even know if I could tell the difference between that and a PS5 version at this point. So that was great. And that was my PAX Australia experience. Now, the other positive thing that I saw on PAX Australia was that I found on my 3DS, I got it with me, and I was so positively surprised by finding 7 new people on Street Pass. That was insane. And I felt really happy that so many people still would carry their 3DS with them. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. And if you have any questions for anything, leave them on the description, leave them below on the comments and we can discuss. But yeah, that was my experience. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.